Of course, they want to raise the funds in order to purchase a particular asset. But how they are going to raise the funds or how they are going to purchase that particular asset? If we take both the decision, that is buying decision or leasing decision, so here we are going to consider the same period. What is the expenses in these 10 years? So by leasing or by buying a new asset. So it is important that the period of total after tax cash flows. Now how to calculate this? So as I told you, the rate of return should be more than the value of an asset, that is cost of an asset. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today we are in the fourth session of Unit 4, that is lease financing. So my dear students, we have already studied about this lease financing. Let us quickly recall what we have discussed in a previous session. So in a previous session, we have studied about this topic, that is main clauses in the lease agreement. So as I told you, so there should be an agreement between the lessor and lessee. So the two parties under lease agreement is what? Lessor and lessee. So there should be an agreement between these two parties. So in a previous session, we have discussed what are the clauses that has to be included in the lease agreement. So it may be relating to the use of asset or the duration of the lease agreement. So there are many clauses which we have already discussed in a previous session. In today's session, we shall continue with new topic, that is to buy or lease. A crucial decision. Of course, I have told you in the previous session, so whether we want to buy a asset. So being an organization, in order to buy a asset, so it requires huge amount of fund. So today we shall discuss whether it is better to buy a asset in an organization or go for this lease financing. So if you take on lessee's point of view, so who is a lessee? One who is going to use the asset, or we can take it as an organization who is going to use the asset. So the firm going to acquire a capital asset has to make a crucial decision regarding buying it or acquiring it on lease basis. Of course, when the business starts expanding, so what they have to do, they have to increase their production. So they can't be with the outdated technology. So here the improvement in technology have to take place. So in such situation, it's quite difficult for an organization in order to buy a new machine. So buy the machine also, so they have to use that machine on a regular basis. If not, it will become a waste. So a firm going to acquire a capital asset. Capital asset is nothing but the asset like or the asset which requires huge amount like machinery or any other equipment, new technological equipment. So when it want to acquire a capital asset, it is a crucial decision for the organization whether to buy that asset or go for lease financing. In the former case, the firm shall have to raise funds through debt and equity. Of course, you know about it. So how the firm is going to raise the fund? Of course, it's not possible for an organization to invest all the amount which is there in their hands. So it's not sufficient to invest all the amount which is there in their hands. So they have to borrow from some others. So it may be in the form of debt or it may be in the form of equity. That is, issuing shares to the public or raising the amount by issuing shares to the public is called as equity, and debt is nothing but what? Borrowing of funds. It does not possess surplus fund with itself. The decision of the firm with rest of the evaluation of both the proposals and comparative cost involved therein. Now, how they are going to decide this raising of funds, whether they have to go for equity or whether they have to go for debt. So what they will do, they will clearly examine or they will clearly evaluate both sources of funds. So they will clearly study the both sources of fund. So whether they have to go for equity or whether they have to go for this borrowing of funds. So after studying both the sources, then they will come to know what are the advantage as well as what are the disadvantage, and they prefer where there is more advantage. So the following steps are involved in such type of evaluation. Let us see how they are going to evaluate. The decision of the firm to acquire a particular asset is basically a capital budgeting decision. Of course, in order to acquire a particular asset in an organization, that is in the big organization, so of course it requires huge amount of funds. So it comes under what? Capital budgeting decision, and must be taken by the firm very carefully by any methods of capital budgeting. So of course they want to raise the funds in order to purchase a particular asset, but how they are going to raise the funds, or how they are going to purchase that particular asset which requires huge amount of investment. So having decided the above, in the sense after evaluating how they are going to raise the funds, so having decided the above, the firm shall make a choice between buying the asset or leasing it. So as I told you, in order to buy it requires huge investment. So there makes a decision whether the organization is having sufficient amount of money to purchase a new equipment or to purchase a new asset, or whether they have to go for leasing based on the relative cost involved therein. So after examining only they will come to know whether they have to purchase or whether they have to go for leasing. So in case of outright purchase of an asset, the company will need the total amount of fund equal to the total cost of the asset. Of course, if the cost of the asset is 50 lakh, then it requires a huge capital amount, that is 50 lakh. So here, whether that amount of fund is there in the organization or not. Now this might be a small amount when we take into a new updated equipment. For example, this is just a 50 lakh. Now think that the cost of the asset is 50 lakh and it requires a huge amount of fund in order to acquire that. That is, the total cost of the asset should be equal to the total amount which is available in the organization to purchase the asset. If the company has sufficient fund of its own, it may go for outright purchase of the asset. So, if the organization is having sufficient amount of fund in order to purchase the asset, or if it is capable of purchasing the asset, or if it is capable of having so much fund in an organization to purchase, then of course they will go for purchase of asset. So if the funds required for outright purchase are not sufficient, so if it is not sufficient, so if the organization is not having that much amount of money with the firm, it shall have to raise the same through issue of shares or in the form of long-term borrowings. Now, as I told you, of course, in order to buy a asset in an organization, they require huge amount of fund. If they are in the organization, of course, they can easily purchase the asset. If it is not there, then they have to think the next step is whether they have to issue shares or whether they have to borrow long-term borrowings. Both of these sources will entail cost of the firm which is to be estimated realistically. So based on the capacity of the organization, they will decide whether they have to purchase or whether they have to raise fund through equity or whether they have to borrow long-term funds. In case of outright purchase, the firm shall be entitled to charge depreciation on the asset and the interest on the borrowed funds as deductible expenses for income tax purpose. Suppose if they have purchased an asset from the amount what they have, so it's not a big task. Suppose if they have borrowed money, then it is an expense for the organization. So why it is an expense? Of course, one hand they can purchase the asset, on the other hand for the borrowed amount they have to pay the interest, right? So interest is what? It is an expense. So they have to calculate the depreciation. At the same time, here interest is also an expense. Thus, the cost of buying option is reduced by the extent of reduction in tax liability once only the after-tax cost of buying decision is considered for comparing the same with the cost of leasing decision. Then they have to think of leasing. So whether if they buy the asset by borrowing the funds, so it is an expense for an organization. Why? Because they have to pay interest on that borrowed fund. At the same time, if they go for leasing, then they have to compare it with leasing. So what would be the benefit of leasing when compared to borrowing of funds? So in case of purchase, the scrap value of the asset is also to be considered. Of course, when they purchase an asset, the scrap value of that particular asset, so that is after the life of that asset, so it will be sold and that scrap value will be given to the owner of the asset. So in case of purchase, so if they have purchased a asset on their own, then they will get the scrap value of the asset after selling, after the life of the asset. So in case of leasing option, the company shall have to make the payment of lease rental regularly. So this we have already discussed. So whenever a lessee, that is the party that is called as lessee, so whenever he takes an asset for using that asset, so till the duration, till that particular duration, he has to pay the lease rent regularly over the lease period. So that period is called as what? Lease period. So during that lease period, he has to make the payment in the form of lease rent. The entire amount of lease rental is tax deductible expense. Whereas if they have purchased their own asset, so it incurs what? It incurs tax also. But in case of lease rent, what happens? So it is tax deductible source. So it is tax deductible expense, and after tax cost of lease rental, that is cash outflows, each year is calculated as follows. So how they are going to calculate? Lease rental payment into 1 minus tax rate. So it is called as what? Tax deductible expense. Which one? That is, this lease rent is called as tax deductible expense. So how it is going to calculate? Lease rental payment into 1 minus tax rate. And the next point is, it is important that the period of total after tax cash outflows in both the alternative must be identical. So if we take both the decision, that is buying decision or leasing decision, so here we are going to consider the same period. That is under both cases. For example, if the lease period is 10 years and the purchase of an asset is for 10 years. So we have to take into consideration both these alternatives, that is after leasing an asset for 10 years as well as after purchasing an asset for 10 years. So what is the expenses in these 10 years? So by leasing or by buying a new asset. So it is important that the period of total after tax cash flows in both the alternative must be identical. That is, for example, if the lease period is 10 years, the net cash outflows in buying decision should be calculated for 10 years. That is, in both the cases, in order to know which one is better, so we have to ascertain the same year. That is, if we take after tax cash outflows for 10 years in leasing decision, in the same way after tax cash outflow for 10 years should be calculated on buying decision also. So that we'll come to know which one is better. Compare the present value of cash outflow under leasing decision. So we have to compare under leasing decision with the present value of buying alternative by employing after tax cost of debt as a discount rate for this purpose. So we have to calculate both the expenses, that is after tax expenses in both the cases, that is in buying decision as well as leasing decision. Select the alternative with lower present value. Of course, not only the organization, each and every individual also. So where there is less expense, that they are going to opt. So when you compare where the present value is less, whether it is in the buying decision or whether it is in the leasing decision, so that option has to be selected. So select the alternative with lower present value of cash outflows where there is less expenses, so that has to be selected. Thus, the decision criteria is if present value of cash outflow under leasing alternative is greater. For example, under leasing alternative, the present value is greater of cash outflow under buying decision, then buy the asset. So, if it is greater, if the cash outflow is greater under leasing decision, then it is better to buy the asset. Clear? So this is your first option. So we have to compare the present value of cash outflow for the similar period. That is, if it is for 5 years, we have to take 5 years. If it is for 20 years, we have to take it is for 20 years. So if present value of cash outflow under leasing decision is greater than present value of cash outflow under buying decision, then it is better to buy the asset. If present value of cash outflow under buying alternative is greater, suppose if the buying alternative is greater than leasing alternative, then it is better to go for lease financing. So, if present value of cash outflows under buying alternative is greater than present value of cash outflow under leasing alternative, lease the asset. So, totally we have to compare the present value of the asset. Next is lessor's prospective. One who is going to give the asset to the organization or to the lessee. So, how we are going to decide whether it has to be leased or whether they have to buy. So, the lessor shall have to take a decision whether a lease an asset or not. So, he has to take a decision whether he has purchased the asset, now whether he has to lease that asset or not. He will be willing to go for leasing only when the leased asset earns a higher rate of return. Of course, it's not that a lessor will simply give an asset for some other person to use that asset. So, it should yield certain return, right? So, he always decides about the higher rate of return by leasing an asset. So, he should think of higher rate of return than his weighted average cost of the capital. So, for what capital he has purchased the asset, so more than that the return should be there from leasing an asset. Then he goes for leasing. So, in other words, after tax cash inflows accruing to him or accruing to him must give a rate of return which is greater. So, here the rate of return should be greater than the cost of capital. So, here they are going to compare rate of return. So, they are going to compare two aspects, rate of return as well as cost of capital. So, if the rate of return is more, of course, it is better for going for lease financing. If the rate of return is lesser than the cost of capital, then no need to go for lease financing. So, in other words, after tax cash inflows accruing to him must give a rate of return which is greater than the cost of capital. In substance, the net present value should be positive. Here, if the net present value is positive, then he can go for lease financing. Following steps are required to be undertaken by the lessor for cost benefit analysis of leasing out of the asset. Now, how to calculate this? So, as I told you, the rate of return should be more than the value of an asset, that is cost of an asset. Now, how to analyze this? Let us see the step. Determination of cash outflows. So, let us see what are the cash outflows which are there in or which are incurred by the lessor. So, cash outflows will constitute the cost of the asset. So, cash outflows is nothing but what? The amount which has to be paid to the outsiders, that is cash outflow which is going outside from the lessor. So, if tax advantage is available in the form of investment allowance or a subsidy, the same should be deducted from the cash outflows. So, if any subsidies the lessor is going to receive, so that has to be deducted from cash outflows. Next, determination of cash outflows. So this is a format how they are going to calculate the cash outflows. So, the first one is lease revenue. So, what is the revenue they are going to get by leasing an asset? Next, less depreciation. Of course, for an asset, they have to calculate the depreciation as and when the usage goes on. So, of course, it incurs a depreciation. So, less depreciation, then we'll get earning before tax. So, for that, what you have to do? Less tax. Next, we'll get earnings after tax. Next, add depreciation. Again, we have to add depreciation. So, we'll get cash inflows after tax. So, depreciation is added back to earnings. So, why this depreciation is added back to this earnings? after taxes as it is a non-cash expenses and does not result in cash outflow. Here, this depreciation is what? It is a non-cash item, right? Because directly we are not going to deduct. We don't know what is the current value of an asset. So, we are just thinking that, so this would be the depreciation in a particular year, right? So, here depreciation is added back to earning after tax because depreciation is a non-cash item. So, we can't directly tell what is the amount of depreciation. So, there is no appearance for that cash which is being deducted as depreciation. So, it is being added back for earning after tax. Next, determination of present value of cash inflows. What is the present value of cash inflows where the lessor is going to get? So, cash inflows after tax can be discounted by the appropriate weighted cost of capital of the lessor to arrive the present value of cash inflows. So, how the cash inflows or the present value of cash inflows is being calculated? By taking into consideration discounted the appropriate weighted cost of capital. So, we have to discount this weighted cost of capital of the lessor to arrive at or in order to get the present value of cash inflow. Now, how to take the decision? The lessor should prefer leasing the asset if the present value of cash inflow exceeds the present value of cash inflow. So, they are going to take into consideration cash inflow as well as cash outflow of asset. So, here two aspects are taken into consideration. Cash inflow is nothing but what? The income what the lessor is going to receive after leasing an asset. So, cash outflow means what? The cash or the expenses which is met by the lessor. So, if the cash inflow is greater than cash outflow, of course, it is better to go for leasing. If the cash outflow is greater than cash inflow, then no need to go for leasing. So, how to take the decision? The lessor should prefer leasing the asset if the present value of cash inflows exceeds. So, if the present value exceeds, then they have to go for lease financing. So, in my next session, I am going to continue with a new topic, that is a regulatory framework for leasing in India, and the next topic is content of lease agreement, and the next one is problem of leasing in India, that is what are the problems of leasing which are faced in India. My dear students, in today's session we learned how we are going to take decision to buy an asset or to lease an asset. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.